topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Mindset Marketing Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry. With your host, Marie Mason.
Hi, everyone. Oh, I just love that beat.
Hello.
Are you ready and pumped? Oh, my gosh, we have such an amazing talk, don't we, Plinny? Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. So we are going to have some super, super duper fun. And don't mind me and I used to teach for 20 years, so that's where some of that comes from. But anyway, so some of that kind of trickles in from my teaching days. But welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host, Marie Mason, and my lovely and talented co-host, Plinny Phoenix.
Hello. Welcome back.
We are so happy to have you guys here, and we're going to, as always, we have a fun show planned for you tonight. And I want to have a quick question for the audience. Have you ever wondered about creating, wrong topic. So never mind. We're going to switch to a different topic. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. Have you ever wondered, let's see, I'm trying to see what the best way of phrasing this is so I don't get it like confused or anything. But have you ever wondered how to expand globally to accelerate your business growth? How many people here want to make money? I don't know. Hopefully you can all make a comment in the thing and we'll check on stuff like that. So that is what the topic is for today. We're going to be expanding globally to accelerate business growth so you guys can make some moolah. Okay, so, and we are going to enjoy this guy. He is so revved up, ready to roll, and oh my gosh, I can't wait. But before we do this topic, we do have some things we want to share with our guests, right? So I'm going to sit there and introduce what this topic, and then I'm going to have Plinny be introducing our guests, if you wouldn't mind. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That sounds great.
So we'll just tag team tonight, as always. But before we bring up this week's guest, we're going to first do a couple of reminders, as always. Please make sure you go to our Marketing Mindset Mastery shop. It has some great gift ideas for all of you and your loved ones. And oh my gosh, we have mugs, t-shirts, hats, backpacks, and so much more. And here is an example of our lovely mug. Hopefully, I can actually on point. I was so excited. I actually got it into that screen this time. So that's awesome. Every week is different, isn't it? So dishwasher safe. It arrived in 6 days.
Okay, we're jumping a little bit.
Yeah, we are. Okay, that's okay. We're back. We're all good. So anyway, long story short, these gifts are great for birthdays, anniversaries, and so much more. And currently, we're only shipping to the U.S. and Canada. However, if you guys want this shipped into your country or any of the other items we have, please message me at marievmason@gmail.com or go to libertyvirtualsolutions.com and go to the contact form and ask us to ship it to your country. So we'll be happy to open it up to your country. So I know Plinny, you've asked for that. I will be looking into seeing how I can add your country to it. So because I know you want
add Ireland to that or Italy.
We're going to add Ireland, Italy. Yes, we're going to try to start opening it up to the world. So if more people demand it, we're going to open it up. How's that? So supply and demand, that's what it boils down to. But seriously, please let us know. We'll be happy to send to your country. And then all proceeds are going to help us keep the show running every week. So go to our website at libertyvirtualsolutions.com/shop. And the second reminder is don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell, ding, so that you don't miss another show. So anyway, please also make sure you share our links. Oh my gosh, all you really have to do is go to Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show, look that up on the Google search engines, and we're everywhere. So The YouTube channel is where you want to find us the most and to do that. So there's a little short link for you. It's https://bit.ly/3W. And I always had trouble reading these things. And it's 1IJWK, I think. So hopefully that's correct. But if you just Google us at Marketing Mindset Mastery, go to the YouTube channel and Google it there. We're literally everywhere. So with that, I'm going to have Plinny introduce our guest.
Yeah. So at the
excited.
Marketing Mindset Mastery radio show this week is the CEO Confidant. Last 23 years in his job of experience and has supported more than 1,500 CEOs in more than 33 countries. A lot of numbers here to accelerate the growth of their businesses. And today we have it talking about expanding globally to accelerate business growth. As a team, we have trained more than 20,000 C-levels and business operators nationally, internationally. And make sure you listen every Thursday here because we are bringing every guest. Like they're great. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we have Angel Ribo.
So Angel Ribo, are you here?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you very much for your introduction. And it's a pleasure to be here. And obviously, thank you very much, everybody who's listening to us today.
You're very, very welcome.
We are excited to have you. We are so excited to have you.
Likewise.
It's impressive your experience in your job helping a lot of CEOs. And today you're going to talk about expanding globally because we have a lot of business owners as listeners here, so I'm pretty sure you can share a lot of great tips here.
Thank you. Let's do it. Excuse me, say it again.
How did you start your career?
Yeah, so I would say that probably the main reason why I ended up doing what I do is because in 4th grade, my parents decided to have me learn English and French at the same time. So I was doing while I was at school, I was doing French. Outside, I was doing English. And that really made me be able to speak fluently both languages at the end of high school. And really, that was the beginning. That was really the beginning. And I always felt like I was someone I was always going to travel the world. I was in college and I became the president of an international students association. I spent actually 3 summers in 3 different countries doing internships. One of them, I liked it so much that I spent actually 6 months there. So that was definitely the beginning of my career. Eventually, for a series of events, I left Spain for good. I was born close to Barcelona, 1 hour away from Barcelona. And I went to the UK. And that was my first ever job with an American multinational company. And that's exactly when my career started at the late 90s. And I started my work with CEOs and my work with sales and business development. That was definitely the beginning. That's how I ended up doing what I have been doing for so many years, Plinny and Marie.
Awesome. So what are you the most passionate about?
Well, definitely, I think that I'm the most passionate about connecting the unconnected, which is really my declaration of my vision in my life or my mission in my life, which is connecting the unconnected. Or bring connection to the unconnected, because I consider myself literally a divine, unstoppable force that, by connecting the unconnected or the way I connect the unconnected is by bringing my passion, by bringing this passion that, uplifts their energy and eventually also empowers their awareness. And that's really why I think that's being extremely present and being myself all the time is how I have been able to do everything that I do today.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
I'm really curious though, where the CEO Confidant name came from.
Yeah, great question. Obviously, when I left corporate America in 2016, you've been for so many years having this support, right? A corporation is a support system, and you are part of an assembly, right? And it's an assembly. It's a mechanism that works, perfectly fine and everything. So regardless of what you have done in your life, and I'm a great example, I was confused. I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know what route to take. And one day I said, okay, so enough is enough. I'm going to write down everything I have done in my life. And one of the things I did is I started to actually say, okay, so what kind of activities I have done? Well, I have done mostly, business development, sales, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. So who have you helped? So I have typically helped these companies, and I saw that I had helped literally any industry. Okay, good. Where? And then I said, okay, that's a great question. Let me count the countries. Honestly, it was the first time ever I counted the countries in my entire life. I had never counted the countries before 2016.
Wow.
And then one of the last questions I asked myself, okay, so I was always following because of the kind of high ticket sales that my companies were doing. Like we were selling very high level, very expensive services and products. We were always had to live, given the sign off level of everybody in the site, our client companies, we always had to reach to the CEOs or C-level executives. So I started to count literally how many companies we had closed business with. And when I reached 1,500, I said, okay, so I'm not going to count more. 1,500, I think it's more than enough. So then I said, okay, so I think it's, and something that really happened, and you will resonate with this, when you consistently do kind of the same thing for so many years, like myself since the 90s until 2016. I mean, it's not that you are, a guru or you are like, the super duper kind of guy. You just learn a lot, right? And you learn a lot and you've made lots of mistakes and you tried a lot of new things. And you also become the confidant of the people that you serve. And these people that consistently hired you or contract the services of the products of the companies that you work with, eventually they tell you more things and more things and more things. And I said, okay, so I Googled the name and I said, well, nobody has this name and I would like to use it. And I love it because, again, I think that in order for someone to allow me to uplift their energy and to empower their awareness, I think that there has to be this connection that goes beyond the physical realm, really. I think it goes from heart to heart. And that's why I said, I think that I have earned the right to call myself the CEO Confidant. And I started using it. And, the rest is history. And it's been already almost 5 years now. So great question. Thank you. Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, and you're based in Texas, correct? Right
Exactly.
now?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I live in a suburb north of Dallas. It's called Plano, and there are plenty of large corporations headquarters that have been moving for the last years here. It's a very prosperous wealthy area in the north of Texas. Yes.
Perfect. Well, the first question I'm going to ask, and I'll ask like Plenty asked the next one, but what are the main mistakes that you see that corporate CEOs make today?
Well, there's a few blind spots that I see they have, and maybe one of the most current ones, given what has happened in the world for the last 14 to 16 months, right? Because I think that every single CEO has had to change a little bit. Mm-hmm. One of the most important ones is like how to become a conscious leader, So how to really go beyond the pure management, the pure like accountability, keeping accountable their employees, right? Their teams, their C-levels. I think that they are acknowledging, given the fact that more people are working remote. So actually guess what? They have to actually they have to trust more their employees because they're not seeing them as much as they used to see them before. And that's one of the blind spots. Another blind spot that I see definitely, and there was one of these four or five large consulting firms just published actually a report the other day, just a couple of weeks ago, saying that the number one concern of CEOs right now, 70+% of them think that the number one concern they have right now is upskilling their workforce, upskilling their employees. So what's the best route? What is the best route for the employees right now to go? What is the skills I have to give my employees to make sure that they're going to do what I'm asking them to do so that the level of engagement is going to grow, right? I mean, obviously there's, as you know, working from home, and everybody's working either on a pure working from home or on a hybrid model right now. It has made corporations rethink their engagement process internally and also externally. And I think that upskilling is, I totally resonate, and I'm not surprised of the results of that survey, Marie.
Yeah, that makes logical sense. Now,
I have a one extra question, very brief. Do you see, Angel, the mistakes that the CEO do related to the pressure they're under in the corporate environment?
Well, I mean, obviously they serve the board, right? I mean, they have the board and they have to serve the board and they have to serve their shareholders, because that's why companies exist. I mean, the CEO is just someone, executing or making sure that the shareholders continuously have their value back and they have a good return of investment. Okay, so we have to be extremely clear with that. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, how do I keep my employees accountable? So there's this gap. And when you have when the distance, even if it's only, maybe we're only one Zoom away, right? But even if it's remotely, the physical distance has increased. And we have to acknowledge also that, one of the things that the employees are most craving for right now is physical contact. Everybody is craving physical contact. They want, all of us, we want to see our co-workers, right? We all want to see our families, our relatives. I myself, I haven't seen my family in Spain forever, and now, as you know, there's going to be restrictions and things. Oh my God, it's like, so there's this, I would say, physical, natural, human, effect of everything that's happening in the world. And I think that CEOs, have to really acknowledge that they have to rethink the way that they lead the companies today. So obviously, they make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but at the end of the day, is what do you do with the mistakes that you made, right? So and also, I think that CEOs see, in general, it depends on the size of the company, obviously, but in general and on the industry sometimes. But I think that they see companies different from us, right? They're different from what we see the companies like. I think that they see the companies or they see their lives or their business lives even as a game. Honestly, I really believe so. The most successful ones, they really see it as a game, because they have mastered the game of playing and also making mistakes and being successful, right? And and they keep on being in the same position because they are being successful, right? So that's how I basically see the performance of CEOs today.
What do you think is the blind spot in the corporate today, in the corporates?
Yeah. So right now is definitely, I think that every single organization,
even today,
if I think that we still are not on let's say, an homogeneous, constant flow of things. Things are still changing. Okay, so restrictions are changing, policies are changing, so still things are moving. There's a lot of moving pieces. So I think that it's still too early to say what's going to be the final effect of everything that has happened for the last 14 to 16 months. There were industries that obviously their revenues were really down and they really were struggling last year, but there were many other industries that they were really thriving. I have seen many industries that really had their best profits ever in their history, literally, so it really depends a lot. So I think that there's still a lot of moving parts, and we will see exactly what's going to happen. I would say probably, again, the same way I really like to survey my audience and to survey my CEOs, I think that we are too early to call the answer to your question, to be honest, Plinny.
Good point. So thank you for that. And then the other question I have, and we're going to have to probably take a short break, but what are the main goals that corporate CEOs make today? Have we ever answered that one yet?
Yes. Definitely the main goal. The main goal is to increase shareholder value. That's the main goal, because they are serving the shareholders, But at the same time, they're serving a lot of different stakeholders, right? And there's clients to start with, there's suppliers, there's business partners, there's a lot of people. So the main goal is making sure that they give back to the investors, right? And the second one is, how are they able to make sure that their employees really do what the CEOs need them to do. And let me tell you something additional. I think that the most successful companies, or the companies I saw doing the most or having the most success at the end of last year, after the decisions they made, were the ones that started to think about training their employees like immediately. I saw companies last year that they said, okay, our business might be going down, or revenues might be going down, but we want to take this opportunity to really give our employees an additional edge. And I see that happening more and more and more. I definitely see that the CEOs are going to focus on increasing their skills, the level of the skills of their employees. definitely, and it's the best. It's the best time to do it. Again, while still they work on
I
quicksand.
guess it's
right?
also the creativity needed because and flexibility needed because we don't know what is going to happen. So CEOs probably are looking for that kind of people.
Yes, but then the question is, okay, so how do we make because it's not only the CEO, right? Because the CEO is the one that reports to the board, but it's also the one that, let's say, along or together with the C-level group team, the C-suite, right? They decide what the company should do. The thing is, how do we make the entire organization flexible? That's the question. How do we make the entire organization flexible so they will be able to navigate through those changes? So to your point, again, I think that training really, again, is going to be one of the main things moving forward. How do we make sure that we train and we align through training? We aligned all those employees with, the corporate culture, the corporate strategy, right? I think I definitely see that.
That is brilliant. Thank you. So, Plinny, would you like to take us to the commercial break?
Yes. Thank you so much, Engel.
Absolutely.
That was really interesting.
Is it Angel or Angle?
Well, I say it with a Spanish accent. Angel.
Okay. That's
I'm fine. I'm fine either way. Yeah, you can call me however you want.
I'm Italian, so I know the accent for that.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing all your tips on how to expand globally to accelerate your business growth and help our audience grow themselves and their business on Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show. So Engel is staying with us, so stick around with us for the second half of the show. And please, if you have any questions, send them to the comments in our broadcast. And I wanted to encourage you to take advantage of next offer that Angelo is going to do. So
he's going to share that offer on the second half,
later.
Right?
So stick with us. So that ends the segment for our show. You're listening to the Market Mindset Mastery Radio Show with the host Mary Mason and me, the co-host Plinny Phoenix. We'll be right back. So stay with us. We go to the commercial break.
We're taking a short break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Marketing Mindset Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry, with your host, Marie Mason. The show is brought to you by Liberty Virtual Solutions. We work with business coaches and speakers to help them market and host their webinars and upsell their coaching programs and develop heart-centered relationships with their audience. Welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Show with your host, Marie Mason, a premier podcast that helps you master your marketing skills.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Sorry, that music just gets me revved up every week. So
yeah, I was dancing as well.
It's so easy, gets you energized, right?
Yeah, and then you forget that you actually come back for the second part.
I know, you get so lost into it. But
exactly.
Welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host, Marie Mason, and my lovely and talented co-host, Plinny Phoenix. Our guest has continued on with us. I got to remember to change some wording on this. I keep forgetting that. But Angel Ribo is known as CEO Confidant. In the last 23 years, he has supported more than 1,500 CEOs in more than 33 countries. Wow, that's impressive. And to accelerate the growth of their business. As a team, we have trained more than 20,000 C-levels and business operators nationally and internationally. Today's topic is expand globally to accelerate your business growth, and we have so much more to share. So make sure you listen to us every Thursday as we stream live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time right here on W4CY.com. So stay tuned on this channel. Take it away, Angel. We have another question for you. Are you ready?
Oh, absolutely. You bet.
Okay. Next question is, what is the most important blind spot? And I don't know if you answered this on the last one, but just in case people missed it, what was the most important blind spot that you see in corporate today? And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think that more or less I referred to it with previous questions, but I think that it's still how to bridge the gap between what the leaders of the company, which is the CEO, and how to bridge that gap with the rest of the organization. I told you that exactly, and to the question that Plinny asked me, about flexibility, I really believe that, in order to have this flexibility, you have to give your organization really the tools. You have to give your different employees the tools so that they really know how to align with the main, corporate goals. And I think that's definitely one of them. But also something else that I mentioned before, and I would like to emphasize on that, because I think that leadership in the future has to be a conscious leadership. It has to be, I think that leaders have to be much more conscious of what they need to do in order to have their teams to follow them. And that only happens if they start really listening and speaking from their hearts. And I see that every single day. The other day I was blessed. A good friend of mine, Larry Levine, he's the author of a great book called Selling from the Heart, and he invited me to one of his sessions, and I gave a presentation. And he sees all the time the same thing: the organizations that are able to actually train their sales forces to go into their hearts and to be able to sell from their hearts and listen to the buyers from their hearts, they are going to do so much better in the future. And I see that still being an important gap in corporate, definitely.
I am so glad you mentioned that, because that's the one thing I always tell my team is because one of the things that we do is we do heart-centered, story-based kind of marketing. I don't know, it's kind of building that relationship and helping people, learn to connect. And if you build the relationships with people, you're going to connect with them, and they're going to be really heart-focused, heart-centered, real, authentic relationships. And that's what I think you're trying to go for as well. Am I right?
Yes. It's funny how, regardless of how much the world progresses, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the origin. And as you know, many indigenous communities, indigenous leaders, they have always been communicating the wisdom of their tribes and of their civilizations, let's say, or communities, throughout telling stories. And I think that, many years ago, I was able to learn actually how to use storytelling to tell stories and actually to increase company sales. Because I think that at the end of the day, when you are selling, and we are all selling all the time, and marketing is the great instrument to allow to facilitate that sale, right? If you connect person to person, if you connect with the person that's going to buy from you, I think that everything is going to be much easier in that sales process. And actually, the sale is not going to be forced in any way, really in any way. I think that connection is extremely, extremely important today.
Exactly. Yeah, stories sell, don't they? Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, totally.
Absolutely.
It's the same as when you were asking me for the CEO Confidant name. It's just that story. It's funny how I never had thought about it until I had to do it. You have to find something out. So you start thinking about it, and suddenly you realize, oh my God, I have been doing all those things. It's when you stop, and we can do that. The funny thing is that Marie and Plinny, we can do this every single day. We can just take stock of our lives every single day and actually say, oh my God, I did that, I achieved that. And now I see why I had to do that. I had to do that because, and then you see the answer. You see how your life is a series of events, is a series of stories that make sense eventually. So yeah, and marketing is a great way to do that.
Yeah, indeed. Plinny, do you have any questions for Rachel?
I think it looks like, yeah.
I think she got frozen. Okay,
exactly.
Well, I'll ask the next one. Hopefully she'll be able to join back in some. I know she's been having some internet challenges today. Gotta love those internet gremlins, right?
Yeah.
They're wreaking havoc on our systems. But anyway, the next question that comes up to mind is that, do you have can you explain what expanding globally, the answer is to accelerating your growth of your business? So basically, you talk about accelerating your growth of the business globally. So could you tell us how to do that? Does that make question? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that maybe the underlying question is why would companies think about expanding internationally as a way to grow their business?
Exactly. I just worded it differently. That's all.
Exactly. No. That's why I understood you. So, so I think that number one, we get comfortable. We reach a certain level of revenue or number of clients, etc., and we get to be comfortable with selling to our own backyard. And actually, it's funny because countries like large countries as ours, right, expanding to another state can sometimes also mean like you're too comfy to do it. So why would you do it, right? So why expanding globally is a good way to increase the growth of your business? Well, number one, because you have already developed your IP, right? You already have your products, you already have your services, and there's a lot of different communities, countries that they have different cultures, and probably they have never seen your products or your services. And probably they have never seen the way that you have crafted them, that you have made them, the way you deliver them, the way you present them, all those kind of things. So that's why I think that you can actually use all the intellectual property you have put already onto your products and services, and you can start generating additional revenue and additional profits in that additional area, right? Obviously, the question is which area, because going global is like a very wide question, right? But you have to decide, and that's why we come in, right? So we can help you decide what is a good area for you to expand your products and services. What do we think? And then obviously you have to have enough cash flow in order to do that. If you don't have enough cash flow to, let's say, be at least 1 year and a half to really try to be in that new market, it's difficult that it's going to be successful. Because don't forget, there's different ways to get into that market. Okay, you can open your office, you can find some local partners, right? You can maybe just have you can hire people. There's many different ways you can go about it. And also you might have to hire someone locally, maybe a legal team locally, an HR team locally, and many different things to make sure that you fully comply with their way of doing business. And again, we're talking about culture in that country. Doing business is completely different in every single country. So all those questions you have to ask yourself. But at the end of the day, I have seen consistently that it has been a way to grow the revenues and the profits of those companies, because you are able to tap into other sources of clients that you didn't see before. But obviously you have to do it the safe way. And that's where we're coming into the equation, because we have the experience of having been there. We have the experience of having the local partners, the local clients, the friends that are able to help those companies to have let's say a soft landing in those areas.
Sweet. Awesome. Plinny, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have one actually. What it is, the tip that you give every time to the CEOs?
Yeah, for
something
spending
that
internationally,
you very often say to them.
Yeah, very often, my most important mantra that I use, actually not only with CEOs but also with entrepreneurs, is take imperfect action now. Take imperfect action now. Be let me use the word adventurous enough to, whenever you spot something, you spot an opportunity, maybe you even don't see it, but you see someone on your team that says it, and you are open enough to have conversations and allow your entire team, not only your C-suite, but your entire team, to bring you those suggestions. Go for it. Try it. Put the pilot in place. Put a proof of concept. So that's definitely my number one piece of advice I give them all the time. I think that we very often, we kind of carry blinders, and I think that's not good for anybody. And sometimes we miss on opportunities because of that. And you know what? Every single employee in your organization can be the source of that wisdom that might open your company to new opportunities. And it's the same with local partners. When you open globally, you have to be really open to the local people. You really have to, and let me like backtrack a little bit. There's 3 ingredients that I always look for a company or a CEO before I start working with them. Number 1, that they really want to change. Number 2, that they want to leave a legacy. And number 3, that they want to change, they really want to change the world. And the first one is the most difficult one. The first one, they really want to change. And sometimes,
sometimes
they say they want to change and they really don't want to change. And when the rubber hits the road, you realize that they really don't want to. They don't want to change, and they don't want.
Especially, Angela, is that, do you notice that, like, the difference? Because with a small entrepreneur or a business owner or a solopreneur even, we decide for ourselves. So maybe trying something is on you. But when you are in corporates, like, you have an entire company, and probably your decisions are going to change the life of a lot of people. And if you make a mistake, and that's completely normal when you do business, because you're trying things, like you say, just try something new. How do you suggest to these people to do that step with the fear of making mistakes and affect the entire company?
Yes, because I always tell them the same thing: calculate the risk. How much is that risk? What does that entail? What are going to be the repercussions of that? Let's say that imperfect action that you're going to change, right? So the thing is not. That's why I say the main issue I continuously say is not taking action. It's not taking too many actions, and when you are going to take an action that you're not really, like, you don't have everything under control. And it's typically the case. You have to calculate the risk. Okay, so can I make that mistake? Yes or not? And while you do it, you start seeing what are the consequences. Again, I think that we have to really be open to listen to what's going on. I take an imperfect action. What's going on? What's happening? What am I seeing? And another thing is that when we take, and again, I think that's a big mistake where for entrepreneurs, not as much for medium or large corporations, which is not talking to the market soon enough. Okay. And the people, let's say the entrepreneurs that are not typically coming from a sales environment, they are fearful of talking to the potential clients. And actually that should be the first thing they should do. Let's say you're planning for your business. You want to do something, but you're afraid of doing that, right? You're afraid of launching a new line of business. You're afraid of offering a new service, but you have already had several clients telling you, hey, I think that you should do that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the place where I'm talking about. That's exactly what that's the main message that I'm talking about. And everybody should be, taking, yeah, exactly. Taking action, and in the same way, be open to listen what's going, but talk to your potential clients early enough when you start launching a new thing. Talk to your clients. That's the first thing. Talk to friends, talk to potential clients, talk to clients of your clients, talk to suppliers. Would you do that? Would you take that service if I offer that to you? How would you take it? What would be of real value to you? What would that be? And then already. Market feedback. Is what is missing. After taking imperfect action, you immediately need market feedback. That's what you need.
Good point. Thank you for that.
No, that's absolutely a great point, because you needed to talk to people. At the end of the day, we go back there, talking to people instead of cold surveys and calls. Take
exactly.
action. Yeah,
and interact with them. Interact with them. So let me give you an example. For instance, and we are talking about marketing mindset mastery, right? So most of my business I conducted from LinkedIn. Okay, so you can go to LinkedIn and you will find me there, Angel Ribo. So everybody can interact with anybody, and guess what? There are literally millions and millions and millions of CEOs out there posting every single day. How many entrepreneurs that would like to have some business from that CEO actually interact with that CEO in that particular post? I'm giving you a hint, which is worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, literally. So why are there not, you tell me, why thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs interacting with the posts of these people? You don't even have to have first level connection with these people, but nobody does it. You can go to their post and just make a post which is related to what you're doing. Obviously, don't be salesy. Just make sure that it's related to what that particular CEO is posting about.
True.
And it's so easy. It's so easy. Why? You tell me. Why nobody's doing it? You just have to spend, let's say, 1 hour a day. And let's say if you're very cautious, right? Maybe you only comment on 5 posts or in 2 posts because you really think about these 4 lines of message of comment, right? Regardless, you already made some impact. You already, maybe even you can ask a question, or you raise a point that is that's gonna resonate with the CEO. You don't know. You just don't know. Why not doing it?
I found out a secret from somebody that does a lot of social media and is big in the industry. And one of the person told me was, just spend about 15 minutes a day, or if you want, or 15 minutes throughout the day, like you do 15 minutes here, etc. And then go, because what happens with the social media posts, they go through your news feed at different times, right? And you might be up there at different times during the day. So you might miss some things, but you might see others come in. So what you need to do is just sprinkle that hour and do 15 minutes here throughout the day. And I think that would make a bigger make it easier and more bite-sized for people who might think an hour is too long. I don't know. Does that sound like a reasonable plan to you? Or
Yes. I mean, I have myself or my team. We do it every single day. We interact with a lot of people. I mean, literally every week we interact with hundreds of people on LinkedIn. Literally hundreds of people. So yeah, I mean, just start doing it. Again, don't be fearful. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, I understand that you are starting, maybe you are starting your business, or maybe you've never reached out to that company or to that CEO. I understand, but don't you think that that person, he or she, they are also going to understand that you're a human being? So just be vulnerable. At the end of the day, who's going to pay your bills, right? So why don't you risk it a little bit, right? And you show, you expose yourself a little bit, and you start commenting that throughout the day with the people that show up on your feed. And again, they don't have to be first level connections. They can be second level connections.
Excellent. We did have a comment from Terry but all he said was, thank you, W4CY for every bit as good as you. I'm not quite sure. I guess he was trying to there it is. Thank you. Rebel's always on point. But yeah, so apparently he's liking everything that we're saying today. So thank you for that comment. But anyway, I did want to say that you are right, Angel. Don't be afraid about trying something new, branching out, getting out of your comfort zone. Because I've learned something in life and in business. Making mistakes is not fatal. You can always make adjustments. Correct? I mean, am I wrong on that?
Oh, no. I fully agree with you. And, if you said something wrong, next. The problem is that, as we live too much in the past, and we don't live in the present any longer. And we are surrounded, and, there's this wonderful, and again, I'm not going to, point fingers on anybody, but there's this wonderful movie called The Social Dilemma. You've seen that movie, The Social Dilemma. I mean, we carry these, smartphones and smart pads, and we are distracted all day long, right? And it's funny how now we cannot live without our cell phones. It's crazy, but we are distracted. We are continuously distracted. So is that distraction good for our business? Is our distraction going to pay our bills? Of course not, right? Right. I mean, it's like, are we in control or are they in control? I mean, that movie is really eye-opening. And that movie, obviously, that movie, as you know, features The Social Dilemma, features former executives, high-level executives of many, many successful worldwide multi-billion-dollar social media companies that you all know about them.
Cool. That is awesome. Thank you for that. Question. Do you have Plinny, do you have another question for him before we start to closing the show?
Yeah. Do you have any last suggestion? So you said we need to take action. So to all the entrepreneurs out there listening to us, we need to take action and do something and check if a path is good or an idea is a good idea. What will be the best first action when you have a good idea, or one of your employees comes and say, hey, I have an idea, why don't we do this? What might be the first step to go into that path?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, it's actually very important today, because many companies and many entrepreneurs, probably all entrepreneurs, they had to pivot last year. They had to reinvent themselves, and they keep on reinventing themselves. I always use like these four like different filters, right? The one is it the passion? Is it my passion? Is that something that we really like to do, personally or as an organization? Number two, is that something that is really our expertise? Is we excel at that, and other people tell us you're really good at that. Number three is there a market for this? Is there a market for this? Do we think that the people are going to buy it, and why? And the last one is, are customers going to pay? So if you run this idea through these four different, let's say, questions or filter levels, then you know which action to take. But at the same time, visualize the process. Give yourself a time. Hey, if we cannot do this in a couple of months, in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, we're going to stop doing it. But again, I always think, to be honest, the future of the world is not competition, it's collaboration. It's collaboration. So it's not a matter of, it's going to be competition and will we be able to beat the competition? No. It's a matter of, are we going to be passionate enough in order to put everything in place so we will do it, along with everybody else? The world is a world of abundance. It's not a world of scarcity. We really, really think, or I really think, and my life has been like this, there's always money and clients for everybody. The thing is, how do you, and this because you are the marketing mindset mastery. The thing is, who do you want to go after, and go totally after them, totally. And every single piece of your marketing has to speak to that, every single piece.
Exactly. And one of the things I was told recently was, and one of the things I'm learning to do is you have to be able to speak to that one person and focus on that one person. Have that one person in mind when you're doing your marketing pieces. Would you agree to that, or either one of you?
Yes, and that is. Sorry to jump Plinny before you, but there's this confusion. There's this confusion that we have to, like, when we throw our marketing net, it has to be like this super wide net so we catch as many fishes as possible. It's just the other way around. It's just the opposite. We have to be talking always to the same people. Always. The main mistake we make is that we change our messaging so often, or our messaging is not right for the right people that we're talking to. And you describe it very well. Every time that we talk to someone, every single piece of marketing, every single post, every single, right? It has to talk to the person that we're talking to. And for instance, my own content, we develop content daily on my team, daily. So what does that mean? That every single day we ask our question, what are we going to do? We have an editorial calendar, right? So we decide every day who are we going to talk to. And if you go online, you will see that very often our content is like very, very light content, because we don't want to burden everybody. We don't want to overwhelm with another theory, another set of, obviously with all due respect, blind spots or things. No. Sometimes, we have just to relax. And tomorrow is, I forgot what day is it tomorrow. Typically my team tells me every day.
Today is Thursday. So.
Yeah, no. It's Thursday, but I forgot what day is it today. Maybe it's graduation day, because every single school and a school at every single educational system level is actually going through graduations. But we try to touch upon the personal life of our CEOs all the time, because they go through the same thing as anybody else.
That's awesome. Thank you. Now, you have a call. You have something you want to give to our audience, and then we have to actually close out the show. So
absolutely. Well, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you will see that there's a place where you can actually book time with me. I'm offering a free consultation for anybody that has ever thought, or maybe the people have told you should take your business global. You should take your business global. So feel free to go to my LinkedIn profile, and you will be able to actually use my calendar, get into my calendar. And the offer is, obviously, it's going to be for free for the audience, of this show today.
So mention the show.
Absolutely, mention the show. And also, if you don't find it for whatever reason, send me an email. It's very easy. It's angel@angelribo.com. Angel is spelled as in angel in heaven, and Ribo is spelled as in R-I-B as in boy O. Angel@angelribo.com.
Oh, thank you. Don't forget to go to LinkedIn and check out Angel Ribo, R-I-B-O. And he is so fun to talk to, as you can tell. We've had
Thank
lots of
you.
good conversations. Thank you so much for being an awesome guest and sharing so many valuable tips to help our audience grow themselves and their business. Here on the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show, his topic was on expand globally to accelerate business growth. And you were fantastic. Thank you. I hope everyone got some great tips on that. So I want to encourage you to take advantage of his offer, and you get a premium discount for this for a 15-minute session with 101 with Angel Ribo, R-I-B-O, to strategize on going global and is good choice for your business. So please make sure you check that out, which is also his book. And you can also go to his calendar at calendly.com/Angel Ribo /30. And you can check it out on the W4CY.radio.com radio page. And we'll be so glad. Trust me, you'll be so glad when you take advantage of the gift. All of the links will be posted on our YouTube channel as well after the replays. So, Plinny, would you please close us out for today?
Yes. So thank you so much, Angel Ribo. And thank you so much to all the listeners that were with us today and watchers as well. So we'll see you next time. This was the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show. We had great tips, ideas, how to make your marketing and your mindset work for you. And our guest for next week's show will be providing more tips and how to set up your business for success. So we'll see you next Thursday, like every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on W4CY Radio. So until next time, this is your co-host, Plinny Phoenix, with your host, Mary Mason, and say bye for now from Marketing Mindset Mastery. This ends this week's show. Bye. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Go to our radio page and check out the gifts from our speakers. We'll see you next time on Marketing Mindset Mastery with your host, Marie Mason.